Forces? You like forces? I hate it. Equilibrium forces.
Okay, when you look at this first one, what shape is it? Circle. Oh, too much. Come on. Why is it a circle? If I ever get back to it. Sammy, can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Circle, because we have the same x squareds and y squareds. So I'm going to change the form. So here's what I did to change the form. Group the x stuff, group the y stuff, move the number. This one's nice. I don't have to factor something out, right? So it's just plus blank, plus blank. Finish the trinomials. So this one will have a 16. So I'm going to add 16. This one will have a 1, so I'll add 1. Something squared plus something squared equals 25. So this one, did you do x minus 4 in that one? And then this one should be a y plus 1. Okay, so now I know the center is 4, negative 1. That's good. And the radius is 5.
Why do you know the radius?
Because this is r squared. So you would see, if you wanted to look on your formula sheet, it'll say r squared on that side. Okay, so 4, negative 1. Negative 1 is there. I'm putting an X marks the spot because it's not a point on my graph. Okay, and then go 5 right, left. Good. Next shape. I'm looking at those two things to determine the shape. So this is an ellipse. Okay, so do the same idea. Group the x's. Group the y's. Move the 49. Okay, on the x stuff though, you have to take a 9 out. So don't do your blank. Your blank can only come in a simple trinomial. Okay, so once you take that 9 out, don't forget the 54 will change, right, to a 6. Okay, so my blanks should be a 9 and a 4. Is that what we got? And what is the balancing numbers? This first one is actually an 81. And then a 4. Okay, do you see why it's 81? Okay, so what's the inside brackets numbers? This would be an x plus 3. And this would be a y minus 2. Okay, so the form is not how I want it. On ellipse, we usually want equals 1 at the end. So I'm going to divide everything by 36 to get it equals 1. And on this, you'll probably want to get that reduced. So if I divide both by 9, then that would change into a 4 then, right? Okay, so the center is going to be at -3, +2. I will horizontally go how far? 2. And I'm going to vertically go 6. Okay, I might ask you questions about your axes. How long is the major axis on this one? So the major is 12. And the minor would be 4. Okay, so I might ask you questions about your major minor. Okay, so -3, 2. To left and right. And I will have no judgment about your shapes. If they look like weird eggs or whatever, I will not be picky. You will get asked on your test some range and domain questions. So the domain, do we have our numbers on that? So this was a -3, so this should be a -5 and a -1 because we went 2 and 2. I'm just double checking that those are 4 apart from each other because that's the axis is 4. And the range, so that was 2, and we went up 6, so this should be an 8. And we went down 6, so that should be a -4. And then I'm just double checking that those are 12 apart from each other. Okay, because my axis is 12, so they should be that. I'm looking at it. What shape is this? So that's a hyperbola because there's a negative. And I'm looking at the y squared is positive. So it's going to be like that. It's a vertical hyperbola. Okay, I'm going to put my y's first. So y squared plus 2y. That group first. And then space, and then my x stuff. And move the 1/16. Okay, are you okay that I switched the order of the x and the y because I like my positive first? So y squared plus 2y plus blank needs to be a 1. -9 comes out. So x squared minus 4x plus blank. And the blank would be a 4. We good with those numbers? So I need to do a teeter-totter here. So I need a 1 and a -36 to put it back in order. We okay seeing those numbers? The -36 came from that. Okay, so this will be y plus 1 squared. And this bracket will be x minus 2 squared. And what do we got there? 81. Okay, now I need this to equal 1. So I'm going to divide by 81. The goal is to get 1. And on that, I'm going to reduce it. So this would become a 9. So the center is going to be careful here. I feel like I catch some errors here. What is the center? Two, -1. The easy error is to do -1, 2 because you're just looking there first. Make sure you look at your x first, then your y's. And we're going to go left, right. I'm going to do 3 out. And up and down, I'm going to go 9. Okay, I'm just going to do a bunch of my X spots here. Sorry, not a very good graph. Mine's not fitting. I put mine right in the middle too. It doesn't even fit. That's why you see a lot of 25s and 16s and 9s and 4s, because easier to graph. Okay, I'm going to draw a box, which is actually not part of my graph. Then I'm going to draw asymptotes. What's that? Does it have to be what? Dotted? Your asymptotes are, yeah. That's what asymptotes are, yeah. What did we say? Vertical. So this is now part of the graph, so I'm going to put it as a dot. Follow your asymptotes. Follow your asymptotes. So I might have a question about finding the vertices. So do you know how to find those? Okay, the domain and range. So the domain would be negative infinity to infinity. And then the range is the one that we have to pay attention to here. So we go negative infinity to a height of, did anybody get a height on this one? Negative 10. And then we're going to reset at a height of negative 1 plus 9 is 8. Whatever I'm doing, be able to also work backwards. You know what I mean? I might give you this graph or this info and then you have to make equations yet. So whatever I'm doing, be able to go vice versa. Okay, number 4, I'm going to look at, oh, there's a y squared, but that's it. So now what is this if there's just a one thing squared? It's a parabola, but which kind? Which one? Horizontal. Okay, when I do this one, we're going to have to keep x. And then we're going to move all the y units. Keep the x stuff and move all the y units. Your x has to be positive. And then obviously if this was a vertical parabola, then my y would have to be positive. Okay, get the negative 3 out. What is that, 16? Okay, I need a blank. Did you do a 64? So 3 times 64, that is a minus 192. X minus 4. Okay, the center, well, this is easy to think about. 8. Is that better? Oh, I didn't have to think about this. 8. Thank you. That looks okay now? Yes, it doubles to that, squares to that. Okay, 4, 8. Which direction do we make this? You have up, down, left, right. We said it's a horizontal, so now we're either left, right. And I'm looking at this. Negative 3 means it's going left. So I'm going to do this. 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. And that's good. I just need you to put 3 points on there. As long as you have that. What's that? Did I do something wrong again?
No. How do you do like the over-up chart?
If you
Yeah, counted. Why is the 3 affecting the y?
over, up. So I'm going to times this side by -3. And then I'm going to switch them. Or, because you just know you're going left. And then you could just rotate your paper 1, down 3. Do we know how to do our axis of symmetry on those? Do you know what this line is? The symmetric line? What's the equation? Y equals 8. Because you might get some axis of symmetry stuff on there. Okay, make an equation. We have a hyperbola. The vertices are 5, 8, and 5, 4. So the vertices are 5, 8, and 5, 4. So which direction is this opening if those are my vertices? So I already know this. I know that the y squared is the positive part and the x squared is the negative part. Can you get me the coordinate that would be right in the middle of that? 5, comma, what's halfway? 6? Okay, so I'm going to fill in what I know. So I knew the y squared was positive and the x squared was the subtract. And now make sure, do you see how tricky this is? The x goes with the x. So -5 has to go with the x part, -6 with the y part. How much space is there in that zone? From the middle, how much did you go out? 2 and 2, right? Okay, this is weird. The slope is 1/5. So how much do I have to go over to create a 1/5? Two over what is the same as 1/5? 10. To get a slope of 1/5, this is going to be a 2 over 10. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so my suggestion is to draw these things because you might see 1/5 and then write a 1 and a 25 underneath. Don't do that because now you can see it's actually a 2 and a 10. So vertically, I'm going to need a 4 underneath it. And horizontally, I'm going to need a 100 underneath the horizontal. Good? The 100 and the 4. Okay, please make sure you're looking what's the X stuff, what's the Y stuff, matching it in places. Okay, we have a circle that has a domain. So X goes from 1 to 9. What X value is in the middle? Did we pick 5? And our Y's go from -8 to 4. What's in the middle of that? Did you get a number? -2 is in the middle. So my center is 5, -2. Do you know what your radius is? 4. Okay, now you need an equation. You have a center and a radius, so x minus 5 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 16. Okay, we have a parabola that has a vertex of -1, 8. And the domain goes from -1 to infinity. So it looks like that, if that's what I'm thinking. So I need a horizontal. So do you remember the horizontal? You need a what squared? We're going to need this component, right? So I'm going to go x plus 1 equals y minus 8 squared. And this is for sure facing right. So what do I know about this position right here? Has to be positive. You can just leave it. You can put anything there that's positive. Okay, but if it was going left, you just need to make sure you put something negative in there. So I don't care what, you can put a 3, a 4, a 1, okay, anything. Any positive number as long as you understand it's going right. Okay, make an equation. Okay, so I have a -1 and then a 9. So what's halfway in there? Looks like I did this and then erased it in your paper. 4? It's 4 in the center of that. And then the highest we go to is 2. -4. So that coordinate is 4, -1. 4, -1 is the center. Then what's going on here? What's the span? Did we go 5? And then this is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so horizontally was 5, so under the x I need a 25. Vertically was 3, so under the y stuff I need a 9. Okay, what's the length of the major? The major would be 10 long, and the minor would be 6. Okay? A parabola has a vertex at 6, 4. And it has a range from -infinity to 4. So that's what I know. It has a range. So which one is this one? This would be a y with an x squared, that type of one. Okay, so I'm going to go y minus 4. I'm going to do an x minus 6 squared. And what do I know about in front of this? Has to be negative. So you can put any negative number in there. You could put -2, -3, -1. I don't care. But I need to see that you have some kind of negative value to turn it upside down.